Welcome back to the second part of my top 15 heavy metal albums of all time, in which I will show number 10 to 6. And number 10 is Saxon with Unleash the Beast. Saxon are another band from the new wave of British heavy metal era, which have got a shitload of great albums to choose from. I decided on Unleash the Beast because I think this was their best work during the 90s. Plus, it was also the first album I listened to, so this is another reason for me to pick this one. Unleash the Beast contains some of the heaviest songs, but it's also very melodic. A fine example is the song Bloodletter, which we'll hear right now. Alright, let's move on to number 9. This one is Gutter Ballet by Sabotage. Sabotage are one of my all-time favorite bands, and it's actually a shame that I can only put in one album to present them. From the heavier and more straight-ahead releases during the early days to the more bombastic style starting with this one, they've never released an even remotely weak album. John Oliver's insane vocals combined with his brother Chris' superb guitar work resulted in some of the best metal albums ever. Even after Chris' tragic death in 1993, they released a string of really great albums. It's a shame that they didn't continue after the release of Poets and Madmen in 2001. And while John does continue the legacy with his own band John Oliver's Pain pretty well, he couldn't recapture the greatness of the past Sabotage days. Apparently, Sabotage music is also not allowed on YouTube, as it infringes copyright. Thank you very much, so I have to take this down as well, and I can present you the sample song Gutter Ballet. Number 8 is the third German band on my list, Running Wild, with Black Hand In. Heavily influenced by Judas Priest, Running Wild is a song of Priest's Killing Machine album. They made quite an impact on the European and international scene during the 80s and 90s. What made them unique in a certain way is the pirate concept, starting with the album Under Jolly Roger in 1987. Including the album The Rivalry, they had quite a long string of killer releases that should be part of any good metal collection. If you're new to Running Wild, start with this album because it includes some of the best songs ever written. It's too bad that singer Rolf Kasparek lost more and more interest, and so the last 3 albums were good but not quite up to par with the previous ones. After nearly 4 years of silence, they've played a final farewell show at this year's Wacken Festival. Now we're gonna listen to a song called Mr. Deadhead. The next one is the man himself, the Prince of Darkness, Ozzy Osbourne, with No Rest for the Wicked. Sadly, the copyright police jumped at my video again and said, no, you can't use the sample of demon alcohol, that's forbidden. So it'll have to do without it, I'm sorry. So I can only talk a little bit about the album and Ozzy's career in general. After leaving Black Sabbath in the late 70s, he started a highly successful solo career, which still lasts to today. No Rest for the Wicked may not be his most well-known album, but I like it best because it's his fastest and most aggressive output. This was the first album to feature Zakk Wylde on guitar, with who he has recently parted ways, as you may have heard. The last band for this part are Threshold, which I discovered about like 2 years ago. And I can assure you that these guys are simply amazing. I have yet to hear a single song that can be considered as weak, which hasn't happened yet. These guys can be compared to Dream Theater, although their songs are a tiny little bit catchier. So far they had 3 different singers and all of them are brilliant. I just saw them live recently with original singer Damien Wilson, and I'm sure that their next album will be just as amazing as the previous ones. Speaking of an album to pick, this was really hard, because they're all just amazing. I finally decided on Critical Mass, but I could have picked any other album, it wouldn't have made any difference. The song I choose from this particular album is called Phenomenon, which we're gonna hear right now.
Someone stopped the starlight, loosened up the ties. Now the door is open, open like my eyes. So if the sky's about to fall, I feel the earth flying. It's just the fear of what's in store. The steps you cry, and if the storm throws you around, it only makes you stronger. But when the stars come crashing down, it's a phenomenon.
Alright, that concludes the second part of this video. I hope you enjoyed it this far, and stay tuned for the final part with even more metal madness to come.